What is shaken? Are there angels watching this right now?
Yeah, of course.
Are they cracking up?
Yeah, they're having a blast.
You can't escape the pull of the golden mic, sister.
I'm hiding my authenticity.
Get butt naked, look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself your story matters.
This is my place. My place is to highlight amazing freaking people. I'm gonna do a shimmy!
What is shaking?
What is shaking, everybody? Dude, that's my line! I want you to smash it, Bishop Rook!
Channeling you today.
Oh my god!
Oh, and she's like, I'm going through menopause.
I love this show! I love this show! You understand me? I'm so excited that my folks are not watching this show right now because they totally get on my case to go back to school and finish my med school degree. The Golden Mic Live! Did you think that I was gonna change Lobster Bird? I want you to crumple up your notes in front of you. Now we're gonna go and deviate from the script.
Gotta love it, man.
What is shaken? Episode 206, Golden Mic Live, a special all Spanish edition of the Golden Mic Live. We actually have people who like
man,
their
you're killing me,
teams.
man. My heart is burning, man. Don't touch it like that.
We have people who are proud of their teams.
No. Oh, crazy, man. It's crazy.
Amazing. We have founder of Boundless Love Inc. with us today, Javier Llerena, and also mi hermano espíritu, Javier Llerena. We're going to talk about your book. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of things today, and it's your second time on the show, so I wonder how many times you're going to tell us to get butt naked like you did the first time.
I know I think if we talk about self-discovery, I think you have to get butt naked. Otherwise, there's no self-discovery, right?
Already in the first minute, he's telling us to get butt naked. I love it. Welcome back, Javier. Happy Friday, everybody. If you haven't met me, my name is Marc Cordon. I am the founder of the Joy Revolution, which is super cool because we just launched yesterday. Everything's on www.joyrevolution.com. But Javier, have you ever been rejected from like a TEDx talk or something that was really, really, really important to you, and you get a little bit dejected when you get the word back?
I think I got rejected in I think all the aspects of life, right? From career, I come from a sales background, so I got rejected in sales. I got rejected as a coach. I got rejected as a good-looking man looking for some love.
It's because you had no clothes on.
You
were just butt-ass
I think I got rejected from everything.
Yeah, well, the thing is that on Tuesday with the Joy Revolution, 1 o'clock, we're actually talking about how to take things like rejection and dejection and turn that and propel that into ways to continue your joy revolution. I can't wait to talk to you about your joy revolution because it's been changing a lot, Javier. So let's just start with this, man. I'm a positive psychologist, and on a regular basis, I get to ask people two questions. How happy are you today? And how much are you living in your full purpose?
God, that's a great question. So, by the way, I just want to say thank you, Mark. Thank you for having me back.
Always.
I feel that you are that individual that when you come across Mark, I think I know there's books called 10x, 20x, but forget the 10x. Is the inspiration, is the growth, is the purpose of moving forward with positivity and encouragement, and that's what you bring to this world. And I think you made it very clear about the Joy Revolution and taking objections into a positive, and that's what you do. You take what it is to walk on life and make it fun. So I just want to honor you, and I want to thank you for being in your show. It's such a pleasure.
Always. And I mean,
I learned. If I was there with you, I think I would be hugging you.
We totally would be wrestling right now. But also at the same time, I didn't learn any of that stuff. I appreciate it. I didn't learn that stuff from books or anything like that. I learned it from Barcelona FC, baby. They don't teach you that in Real Madrid, son. Yeah. So with that said, I really want to get into this idea of the power of self-discovery in finding your spiritual match, because there's so much going on there. There's inner work, there's there's your spiritual match. There's so many little pieces of that. But before we even go into that, I want to know, what's your story, Javier?
So, God, my story, and I think I didn't answer your two questions about how happy am I and how on purpose I'm living. So yesterday I had a very profound experience, and I was, as you know, I'm a very spiritual man. I had a very profound experience with a group of men, and it was hard for me to describe. It was in a level of happiness. It was in a level of satisfaction. But it was a level, what I journaled today, is a level to be with the one. To be connected to a source that there is no right and wrong. It's just a source of driving force moving towards. And I felt that way. So if you ask me today, how on purpose are you? I am connected to the source, and I'm just moving forward. So that's my connection, and that's my love. You can determine that is happiness, that you feel connected, that you feel with a higher purpose, that any micro action is going to lead to something bigger, right? So that's how I feel today. And your question, what is my story? I think my story, I was very curious to know, what is your first name mean? And Javier means always remodeling, always changing, always going from house to house, right? The good thing is that I kept my marriage for 15 years, and I think I'm going to keep it forever. So I haven't changed that, but I have changed the way I look for purpose. I come from a business development sales background, very successful, managed sales teams. And then about 4 years ago, I decided to go into coaching, open my coaching practice. And then about a year ago, and I'm going super fast and summarize everything. About a year ago, my wife and I, we do a ministry where we facilitate pre-marriage workshops for people that are about to get married. And we facilitate over 1,000 couples. We've been doing it for 15 years. And we have grown to facilitate these couples. But at the same time, we're like, are we making a difference? Are we really setting up these couples for success in their relationship? And that's when we realized we need to write a book. And we came out with Boundless Love. Mm-hmm. Out of Boundless Love, it was something bigger. We opened other doors that we didn't realize were there. And that's my story in less than 10 seconds. I'm very proud of myself. This is the first time I put together a 10-second micro story of my life. So
I know last time you were here, we started with your birth and then went through the Depeche Mode phase and then went through that, right? So like I would highly encourage y'all to go and find Javi's first time when he talked about his story. It's not just the highs of life, it's ups and downs, and the downs were down for Javi, you know. I am just curious, you know, we are talking about self-discovery, finding your spiritual match. How much in those downs were you finding self-discovery? Because a lot of people are like, well, you either learn it from your downs or your ups. You know, where were you engaged in self-discovery through that process?
Yes. So I think you definitely, I think in order to really learn self-discovery, right? I think there's one key element is to know yourself or accept yourself for who you are, right? I think we have that amazing Facebook picture that we all want to put out there in social media and say, hey, this is me. This is how I want to look. And then we don't see the picture when you come home from work or when you finish your day and you burn out. People don't see those pictures or when you have a bad moment. And there's that gap in between where we don't really accept who we are, right? And I think self-discovery comes for me, it came on the downside when you really are hitting bottom where you're so uncomfortable, you're like, okay, no, this needs to change. I cannot bear the suffering, not the pain, the suffering that I'm creating for myself, which is unnecessary, right? And I think that's when the self-discovery happened.
What was bottom for you?
So bottom for me, and we talk about it on Boundless Love on the book, is my wife and I, we hit a point where she was going to file for divorce. And it wasn't just, I'm going to file for divorce. What happened is I've been carrying angry management issue it's not an issue. I deal with angry management, and I carry that throughout my courtship with my wife. I carry that throughout my marriage. And what happened is when you get together with someone that you love so deeply, you become vulnerable, you become open. And what happened is that person is going to go deep. And if you're not ready for that deep, that person is going to touch elements that you're not healed from.
Yeah.
And then you're going to burst into right, your dark side or your mind. And that's when I realized you hit bottom. You're like, all right, I created we were married for 7 years at that time. I had a daughter. I had a 1-year-old second daughter. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm about to lose everything that was perfectly made for me, right? And that's when you realize.
Were you also engaged with the church at that time too?
Not engaged in a way where I'm engaged now.
Okay.
I wasn't engaged at that point. And I think what happens is help is there around you for any individual, but we ignore the help, right? We think that either we can deal with it or we don't want to show what's happening in our basement in order to get healed. So for me, it was more like, I got this. I can do this, right?
Yeah. So I want to go and ask you this then. It feels like it's not as much of a chicken and an egg type of thing, like knowing yourself deeply versus your spiritual match. In many ways, if you don't know yourself deeply, your spiritual match could walk right by you, and you wouldn't.
That's
know.
right.
Okay. So talk us through that a little bit more, like this knowing yourself more deeply, because one of the things that I've seen with both myself and clients that I work with is there's a certain deep dive that they can take, and then there's blind spots that they have. And it's often those blind spots that are preventing them from truly jumping in with their spiritual match.
That's right. So I think number one is obviously, and I'm glad you asked me, you were involved in your church. You were. One is to really accept that you are a perfect creation, and that's really hard to accept as we human being, and really accept that you are perfect the way you are. You are just a divine version, and you are a perfect person. There's nothing wrong with you. What is wrong with you is that you've been wired in a way by experiences, and then I think the first step you ask is, I'm perfect. I'm good. And really love yourself, because if you don't love yourself, it's going to be really hard to forgive yourself, forgive others, first of all, and really accept the things that need to be healed, right? So the first thing on self-discovery is you're good.
Yeah.
You are good.
You know, I want to bring this up. In terms of that idea of you are perfect, that is something that I catch myself saying to myself, but then there are days where I'm just mouthing it. It's almost like my body is not feeling it. it's not resonating with me. Have you ever had those days where you're like, I know I'm perfect, but it just doesn't feel like it right now? And what have you done to remedy it so that you truly feel from the inside out that, yeah, I'm good, I'm perfect?
I think obviously we are, especially the older you get, and I've done a lot of healing for myself because of my childhood, the abuse that I went through, everything that I went through. So I went through a lot of healing. I think right now is more of keeping that heart of mine and my mind, my soul. So it's kind of reminding myself, right? So I do my rituals, obviously, in the morning. I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I meditate. I read the scriptures. I do my affirmations with feelings, right? So if the affirmation doesn't touch my heart, I don't feel it vibrated, then it's not a good affirmation for me. And then really vision myself being loved by whoever, right? It can be God, it can be your higher power, it can be Allah, it can be Buddha, it can be anything, or be loved by the people around you. And I think that is an acceptance of you are a perfect being and you're here for a purpose. And that grounds me, right? So it's something to ground you. Mm-hmm. I think you're an IPEC alumni, so I think in IPEC, I don't know, we used to give this rocks away where it says problem and solution, right?
Yeah, we used to
you look
sleep
at the
with those
problem.
babies.
Yeah, so something to ground you, something that you hold on to it, and you know that by holding that object is going to ground you, it's going to bring those memories, say, yes, I'm worth it, I'm so good, I'm perfect, I'm here. And I think that creates that state of mind of letting go of the inner critic, obviously the things that we unnecessarily put in our hearts and our minds that stop us for being perfect. And I think that's the step number one for self-discovery.
So it takes work. Now, the other thing, and I know you have this in your book, is this idea that self-discovery, and I'm using the exact word, almost leads to manifesting the
yes.
the intimate relationship and sustaining it. What do you mean by manifesting it? I mean, that's like they show up out of nowhere.
So what I did as well when we were writing this book, I started reflecting, right?
Yeah.
Why you are where you are.
Yeah.
And you start thinking, am I doing in relationships? I was doing the same thing over and over and over, and I was manifesting the same type of person.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they were showing up, but guess what? They're not that person. So I was really projecting someone that it wasn't the right match for me, because guess what? When I manifested my wife and she came into my life, guess what, buddy? Is on. So what happened is the real love. It's the intimacy. And guess what? If you're not ready for that, it's going to be. So I was manifesting, hey, careless individuals that don't really care about themselves, that really don't. And yeah, individuals that will come and go perhaps. And you manifesting those same people. So those same people are going to come to you. But when you really tell yourself, hey, I love myself, I am perfect, and you start manifesting what is in your values. What do you value the most? Mm-hmm. And what do you really, I mean, there's two differences. I ask my clients, do you walk your values? Because you can have values, but are you implementing those values?
Yeah.
So really understanding, hey, if I value family, that means I have to manifest someone that values family.
Yeah.
Right?
So what I'm hearing here is almost as if you don't take a deep dive into yourself, you're bound to continue to repeat the same type of habits. And then I don't know about you, but like I know when I've repeated the same type of habits, I'm like, why does this type of person keep coming into my life? Why? It's all about them, not me. It's not about the way that I see the world or the way that I feel about myself. It's more so like waiting for my queen in shining armor to show up to fix it. You know.
That's right.
And so for you, what was the moment when your wife came into your life and you were like, either were you doing the work already, or was it like, okay, I gotta get my shit right, because like if I continue down this path, I'm gonna lose my spiritual match.
For me, it was obviously I realized that I thought I was healed. I thought that if I was honest with myself and put my values, everything is gonna be okay. But I didn't realize, and that's what one of the things that we talk about on the book, and what Christina and I do in our workshops, is really healing yourself. And there's so much healing to do. And for me, it was more of my childhood. It was more about my anger that I kept and I used. That was my defense mechanism, right?
Yeah.
And what happened is that flare, man, that went like an atomic bomb. And I'm like, oh man, Christina is not really
Real
triggering
Madrid
this.
style.
Real Madrid style, man. It's like 94th minute and we got to score, you know.
It's the 94th minute, yeah.
So for me, it was like, hey, I really need to look into this deeply. And that led me to a journey to really find out where's the anger coming from? What led into this moment? And then obviously you have to go to a path that some people don't want to go to, right?
Well,
let's
go there for a second. That's almost like either suppression or your shadow, part of your shadow, right? And in doing that kind of shadow work, what was that like for you to sort of trace the anger back to a place that has nothing to do with Christina, or even some of the subsequent relationships you were in? What was that like? And what was it like did you trace it to the epicenter? Did you find the source?
Oh yeah,
you did?
I did trace it. I did trace it to the epicenter, because I realized, okay, I need to go deep on this, because I don't want this to happen again. I just don't want to feel the way I was feeling, and I went as back as, growing up. My mom died of cancer, and when I was 2 years old. She had cancer when I was developing in her. So I never had a picture with my mom. So I never had a reference of, oh, that's my mom. But she passed away. So I grew up without a mother. I didn't have what they call motherly love. And then from there, you go through a stage of your life that you're raised by men that want to protect you but don't know how to love you. You come from a Spanish family where back in those days, hey, you don't think about the past. You don't talk about the past. And then you go through a stage where your dad is, suffered tuberculosis, lost one lung. He was sick all the time. My dad was living the life, that a child shouldn't see. My dad was very violent. He was angry all the time. And then you put into an orphanage for 4 years of your life, right? Without really an explanation why. You're there by surprise. So you start going through this emotion, this trauma, and you start saying, oh my God, no wonder I get so upset. No wonder I'm using my anger as my defense mechanism.
Yeah.
And instead of looking at it and say, hey, this is not right. Hey, what do I use? I use my family all way. Hey, forget about it. Don't talk about it. Don't express your feelings. Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
So what happened is, your father dies after you get out from the orphanage. You're 12 years old, and then you come to this country, come to California, and then here we go again, another trauma. Don't heal, don't grieve about your father's death, but guess what, buddy? You're gonna go to middle school, and then you're gonna go through high school, okay? Wow. And then you're gonna figure it out, and you're gonna start living faster than you should. And then you start realizing, oh my God, I'm breaking down, I'm having nervous attack, I'm crying in the shower, I'm trying to look for help. Forget about it, don't worry about it, just keep going at it, go at it. Well, guess what happens? All that trauma, all those experiences, you bottle those things inside of you. That when you meet your perfect match, which my wife, hey, my wife wanted to hug the heart. He wanted to touch the heart. But guess what, buddy? That heart is so inflamed, is so raged that every time you touch it And every time you trying to get closer, guess what? Anger comes out, right? Because that's your defense mechanism.
Yeah. So what did you do to work through that? I mean, aside from taking a deep dive, because to me, I can see some people taking deep dives, Javi, and when they take that deep dive, they're like, I am screwed because it goes back 50 years. It goes back 40 years. Like, I don't know how to change myself. I've done the deep dive. Where do you go from there?
So for me, for me, I'm a spiritual person. I'm religious. I believe in Jesus. And for me I came to a point that I realized, and that's why the book is called Boundless Love, that I was loved from day one. I was loved since I was born. Even before I was born, I was loved so much. And I was really, when I tell people like, really? But you went through a lot of stuff. I'm like, yeah, but guess what? I'm not 6 feet under. I'm not, in prison. I'm not addicted to major drugs. I haven't committed a crime. I'm helping myself and I want to help others. And I was loved. I was loved from day one. So when I realized He's boundless love, the love that the Creator has for you, the universe has for you, you're like, oh man, fine. I've been loved. And guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back. I did therapy as well, where you go back to your memories and you present yourself as the older adult. Yeah. And you tell the younger person, it's okay, Javier.
Yeah.
Everything is going to be okay, man.
Yeah.
Everything is going to be fine.
I love that procedure because you're taking in the wounded, the wounded child that has felt wounded the whole time. And that's where the anger would come up from.
Yes.
Right? A wounded child. Amazing.
Yes.
You talked about spirituality, and spirituality when it comes to your the union with your spouse is something that I'm interested in, and also about the idea of, you brought it up a couple times, like values and beliefs and sort of assumptions. How can those help you create and sustain a spiritually based a pair bond between you and Christina?
I think for us, values are very important, but you gotta live your values. And I think when you tell people, hey, you gotta be disciplined, they're like, oh man, forget it. I've been, my parents, everybody's on top of me. I don't want to be disciplined. But in order to, it's very simple, right? I mean, and I put this analogy on a plant. If you take a plant and you water it at the same time, give it sunlight at the same time, talk to the plant at the same time, guess what, buddy? That plant is going to grow. Yeah. But if you do weird stuff with this plant, like, okay, I'm going to give you some moonlight, and I'm going to give you maybe Coca-Cola instead of water and see what happens. Or I'm going to guess what? That plant is not going to go anywhere, my friend. So I tell people, if you're not disciplined in yourself, and it's going to hurt, and it's going to be so uncomfortable, but if you're not disciplined, then you're not going to see the growth. But my goodness, when you see the growth, how good it feels, right?
Sure.
And that's what Christina and I try to do. You become disciplined, you live by your values. We have, in my family here, we have 2 slogans we go for, right? We never give up, and we love our neighbor the same way, we love ourselves. So we have 2 slogans, and another one is we don't judge. We have conversations here with my daughters and my wife, and we talk. As soon as we start talking about someone, hey, let's pray for them. Let's wish them well. Maybe they're hurt, because that's what people are. People want to be connected. People want to be talked to. People, when people say, oh, you mess up. No, that person is not mess up. That person did not get the proper love, or did not become aware of boundless love, right? Did not be care of the love that is out there. Yeah. So some of the things that Christina and I talk about, but one main key that we really talk about is having a strength-based conversation. And really talking on a strength base. So I'll give you an example, very simple, that you can do this with your kids. When my kids come from school, I can say, hey, how was your day? Which is a very typical question. You know, I think the Disney Channel answer that, you know, that question, how's your day? How's your day? Well, I can say, hey, Lucia, tell me the most exciting part of your day, the one that your heart was beating so fast. Tell me. Guess what? Your child's going to go through the day and look for that specific moment. As soon as she relieves that experience and talks about it, guess what? Oh my God, all these beautiful things come out.
Bring joy
right?
up again. Yeah, it's amazing.
Bring joy to the conversation. It's like, so when I look at my wife, I say, honey, freaking, let's celebrate what we have accomplished. So good. So amazing. And then guess what? We go 10 times fall on that day. But if we're like, oh man, I wish this, that, guess what? We're going to go inward. So really having a very constructive, strength-based conversation. One of the things that I learned from John Rodman on the Front Row Foundation, he talks about find out what the front row experience is for anybody that you meet. Because, man, I'm a good person. Mark, you're an amazing person. I mean, you're doing great things at work. But if you and I want to be connected on a deeper level, I'm not going to just do stuff for you. I'm going to ask you, hey, Mark, what is your front row experience? And if you say, well, Javier, my front row experience is to watch a Real Madrid Barcelona game. I'm just making an example. And
it's not an
example.
example.
Surrounded by Real Madrid fans.
It's real, man.
It's real. So what if I do that for you or I help you get there, the connection is going to be deeper, right?
Sure.
So I always ask people, hey, what is your front row experience? What will make you happy? What will be the thing? And if you can help that individual, the connection is going to be so much deeper than instead of doing little things that don't mean anything for that person. And then what happens is you get disappointed. So I always ask my wife, hey, what will make a fantastic day for you today? And she said, you know what? I don't know. Give me a facial. All right, facial it is, because I know when she comes back, she's going to be extremely happy, right? Yeah. So always asking what will make the best thing. And that's what I ask my daughters all the time. When I ask them, it's not me doing activities for them, it's asking them, hey, how can we have an awesome day today? What would be a perfect day for us as a daughter?
What I love about that is that scientifically that's been proven. Rather than asking a kind of a non sequitur or a you choose whether the day was good or shitty. You start by asking what went well. That's appreciative inquiry, right? And that's what sort of gets the joy cascade going. And next thing you know, everyone's laughing, everyone's having a great time. Yeah. It's awesome. I want to now move to this idea of spiritual matches. For you and for what you've seen, the couples you've worked with, what you saw in the book. I think a lot of people nowadays will meet somebody and in 3 days they'll say, oh, that's my spiritual match. Whether that's wrong or right, I'm not going to put judgment on that. But also at the same time, what are you meaning by spiritual match? And how do you know when someone is spiritually congruent as a match for you?
For me, it was, and I think we talk about it in the book and we do it on the workshops, is when you feel completely loved and you feel secure. And for example, we work with couples and say, tell us how you feel if you walk into a place with other single people. How would you think about yourself? What would be your energy? How would you approach people? Like in our workshops, we talk about, it's funny, a lot of people don't know how to introduce themselves. Mm-hmm. Like they shake their hands and they're looking up and down, or the energy is insecure, or like, okay, I'm desperate to meet someone, but they don't really connect with their eyes. So we do an exercise about connecting with eyes, because with the eyes, we can really deliver so much in such a short amount of time, right? Mm-hmm. And in less than 10 seconds, we can really deliver a lot. So we talk about once you heal yourself, you accept yourself, you be in love, and you becoming confident, that's contagious. Because when you come into a place, people are like, man, look at that girl, that guy. They're walking very confident. They're walking they're walking into, I'm here.
They got some.
And also, yeah, and also the dependency. If you ask for someone, you're struggling, and I think, you teach this very well in coaching. The more you wish, my God, give me that client. I need that client. Please bring me that client. I need you, client. Call me, client. I'm willing to do 20 free sessions. Come over, client. Guess what, buddy? You're not getting no client. And if you get a client, God bless you. You're going to have a hard time, dealing with this. So what I say, when I met my wife, I was in a point of healing myself. And I was in a point of say, I'm here. I wasn't thinking about the future. I was thinking for the moment. And when I met my wife, I laid on the cards and say, hey, this is what I'm dealing with. This is what I'm doing. This is who I am. Yep. And then I just went through the process. But I knew it hit me when I knew that one thing that came to mind is questions that I asked myself. Are you willing to see your wife getting older with you? And when I accepted that, I'm like, she's the one for me. And another thing is, who's the only person that you want next to you when you're about to say goodbye? And I want my wife. Of course, I love my daughters. But you know what? My daughters have their lives, right? But my wife is the one that we are pioneers. We're doing all this. And those are key questions, right? And also acceptance. We teach in our workshops acceptance, because we have facilitated so many couples that I'm looking at them and I'm saying, you're marrying a cat, right? No, I'm marrying a horse. No, you're marrying a cat, bro. And you're not going to change. It's not going to become a cat. It's going to be. So vice versa. We want to change and we want to convert. No. Accept it. So accept everything and look for the strength. And that's when you start saying, you know what? I think I made my spiritual match. Another thing that I encourage couples to do, obviously, if you're not religious, is fine. But you can do an exercise that we do with people that are not in the faith, is meditating together, holding your hands and closing your eyes as one. And it's unbelievable how you see couples having the same rhythm of the breath. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that if you take the heartbeats, they will have very similar heartbeats. Yep. And you connecting with it. And I think that's a very true sign of doing that. Okay.
I mean, so much stuff going on here. I mean, you kind of answered the question that I was going to follow up with is sort of, somebody's, good for you, like in terms of wanting this to be the person that you spend your last breath of your life with. How do you put together the spiritually based part? Because I'm hearing things like meditation involved, but what do you truly mean by a spiritually based?
Yes. So and that's a great question. So when that's why the book is called Boundless Love, because for us is you have God or you have a higher power always in your relationship. Yeah. It's the one that binds you to be together. It's the one that is a judge of your relationship. It's the one that you can always go for encouragement. You can go for help. You can go for support. You can go for love. Mm-hmm. And when you do that, is what I call is the power of two, right? I think the higher power, God, puts you there for a reason. So we always want to make God, in our book, is God is the center of your relationship, right? Yeah. And because that's what God wants. God is giving you this boundless love for you to let go of worry, doubt, fear, and really flourish to be the best version you can be. I think we live in a society that I think only 40 or 20% of the people are living up to the optimal being, right? And they're doing what they're supposed to do, what the creator meant to do. So imagine if you can do that. I mean, we can change the world. And when I speak like that, they're like, oh my God, you're crazy, Javier. You don't have a mortgage to pay. Yes, I do. You don't have this. Yes, I do. Yeah, you don't have kids. Yes, I do. And I believe that my purpose here is not to, work for the IRS. I think my purpose here is to create whatever the creator is leading me to. Boundless Love was a creation for that. So we always make an emphasis that there's going to be a spiritual component to your relationship. A lot of people are looking for know how to or action guides or strategies how to good marriage, but there's that spiritual part that is missing that is going to really bond your relationship and really realize how important it is, right? So that's what we're trying to do on Boundless Love, and we are very, because that's what saves our marriage. I have if you allow me to share.
Yeah.
When my wife and I were about to get divorced, my wife went to a priest in a church and really explained to her what was happening in our marriage. And the priest said, well, I will pray for you and give her a lot of guidance. Well, I happened to be working in downtown San Jose. I had an office in downtown San Jose. And out of the blue, I'm thinking, I'm going to go to Pete's Coffee and have a coffee. Out of the blue. I mean, I never went to that Pete's Coffee. I enter that Pete's Coffee, and that priest was right there. And that priest looked at me and said, Javier, I just spoke to your wife. You don't know who I am, but I know who you are. And I'm like, okay. Wow. Are you stalking me or something? Did you put up? So what I'm saying is God was there all along.
Yeah.
All along. And when I pay attention to him, I say, oh my God, yeah. And when you start paying attention, being aware of that, there's a higher power that wants you to work things out, that wants you to heal yourself, that wants you to become who you are as a person, that you're a great creation, then things just start taking form, and you're like, man, it's such a key component of my life, and everything becomes so solid, so grounded.
So I'm gonna play devil's advocate for a second. Why can't couples survive without the spiritual component?
Yes, I for me, my experience, if they don't have the spiritual component, then obviously there's a lot of what I call temptations, and we live in a society
okay, right on.
of temptations, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're surrounded, right? I'm a huge advocate of the damages that pornography does to the male. Mm-hmm. So we're tempted by alcohol. We are tempted by social media. We're tempted by do that. We're so tempted that if you don't find that ground, because that spiritual is going to bring you, it's going to take us back to being disciplined.
It grounds
right?
us. Gotcha.
Be grounded and do the things, right? I mean, imagine if you are making breakfast for your wife for 2 years and suddenly you're like, all right, I think you love me a lot. We marry. I'm going to stop doing breakfast. Guess what? Something's going to happen. Your wife is going to say, what happened? You changed, right? But if you keep that discipline and you start augmenting this breakfast, right? You're like, hey, maybe I'm going to do this. Maybe I'm going to do that. Hey, something is going to come better. So I think that going back to your question, I think having that spiritual is keeping you grounded. It's keeping you together in the discipline to grow that relationship. Because as we know, and we talk about it, we have talked in the past, relationships, and I'm learning this. It's funny. I'm a rookie in relationships. In the sense of I have a beautiful relationship with my family, but I don't have a good relationship with other people. And I'm teaching myself that relationships are like your marriage. You gotta nurture it. You gotta be there. You gotta show love. You gotta be disciplined. You gotta do that. So that's why that spiritual component really bonds you to be there.
Sure. And one of the Bronnie Ware had done a study on the regrets of the dying. And one of the biggest regrets of the dying was people not spending enough time with their friends, because we get
Yeah.
so caught up in everything else, right? I wanted to throw this out there. Guess what? We just went into flow, my friend. We just
Wow.
went into
I know.
flow. I wanted to throw this out before anyone hops off. And it's this: boundlesslove.us/action guide. We have a free action guide, 9 spiritual principles for a lasting marriage. And then there's the beautiful book right there. The book
I love this.
that
I love this book cover. I just want to bite it.
You can tell when someone is proud of their book, there's something amazing going on. I did get to catch a few chapters of it, and thank you for sending me an advanced reader's copy.
Of course.
It's awesome. It's an awesome book. I have a lot of questions, and you couldn't have sent it to me at a better time in my life to be doing some reflection on my own work and deep dives. Again, boundlesslove.us/action guide is where to go. Javier, you've done this before. It's getting warm in here for some reason. So I'm just gonna take this off as the golden mic comes down.
Yeah, you did it.
So I want you to imagine, my friend, that a golden mic is coming down from Barcelona to your city. And
no way. I'll be praying. I'll be down on my knees saying, no.
Oh, look at how great I look in the stripes, baby.
But you look amazing. You look amazing. But, if you ask me to hug you, I got to put a white jersey on. So that way, it's like the last movie of Harry Potter, right? Like, the bottle of the energy right there. But
I had to, just in case you came with a Real Madrid jersey. But Javier, I want you to imagine that there's a golden mic that's coming down from your ceiling right now, over there on the West Coast. And this golden mic has the potential to translate into every language all across the world, and everyone can hear it. Everyone can hear it. Some people are not ready to hear what you're about to throw down. Some people need to hear what you're about to say right now. So Javier, your golden mic to say whatever you want to the world is live now.
So my golden mic is, I'm here, and for me, my biggest purpose when I launch Boundless Love is just the beginning, and I'm there. I do see my biggest dream is really seeing relationships, not just couples, but relationships having such a profound conversations that unite them to become who we are. I think we're becoming very distant. And I think that's what I'm here. Profound Love is my baby, but at the same time, it comes deep in my heart because it's my testimony. And I'm here to deliver that boundless love to these individuals, right? And create those amazing conversations that will bring awareness, that will bring connection, it will bring, the boundless love. It will bring where can we go next and really elevate and grow ourselves. I think we live in a time that there's no time to be pessimistic and negative. This is the time to really go at it and really be where we're supposed to be.
Amazing. Real Madrid, Javi, I want you to pick up that golden mic like it's a trophy. Like it's a trophy.
Oh, it's right here, baby. It's right here.
I want you to hold it. Right? Now I want you to smash it. I want you to smash your golden mic.
Golden mic, baby.
It was amazing.
If I had the Real Madrid, I will kiss it, man. But I'm kissing my
man. No.
Boundless Love t-shirt, man. And I just want to say, what an amazing work that you're doing, Marc. You one of those persons that is a gift to me in my life, and I mean that. I mean, you're doing amazing work with Joy the Revolution, with your coaching, how you helping other coaches. I think you're doing tremendous work.
Well, I appreciate you, brother. I'm receiving that right now, right? So here's the deal. We're gonna have slow down. so so here's the deal. We're gonna have you back, Javier, for the third time already. It's boundlesslove.us/action guide. Go there now. It's a free action guide. And then, of course, for the Joy Revolution, I will see you Tuesday at 1 p.m. The link is down there. On behalf of Javier, on behalf of myself, I want to thank you for being a part.
I'm praying for you. I'm praying for you.
I don't know what's going on. We lagged. On behalf of Javier and on behalf of myself, this has been Golden Mike 205. The power of self-discovery in finding your spiritual match. Watch it again. Share it again. Love it again. And on behalf of Javier and myself, we're going to turn off the mics and spend time with real people who love us for the weekend. We encourage you to do the same. And the final question we have is this. If you're feeling happy and you're living life in your full purpose, what is your responsibility to change history for the better? Javier, Marc, Barcelona, Madrid. One day we will coexist together. But today, we kicked butt on the Golden Mike. Thank you, brother.
All right. Love you.
Love you too, man.